Hello traders, and welcome back to the arena. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at the concept of support and resistance, as well as how to use support and resistance together with the top-down analysis approach to analyze the market, as well as what place trades in the financial markets. These actually works on any asset or any tradable asset, all right? Be it stocks, be it bonds, be it forex, be it synthetic indices, be it the indices themselves. Any tradable asset in the financial markets use this approach. Great. So I have what I call a naked chart of NZD/USD. I call it a naked chart because there is nothing on the chart except candlesticks, no indicator, nothing, absolutely a naked chart. All right. So we're going to put in our key levels right here, like we learned or like we know that what on the top-down analysis, or using the top-down analysis approach, we analyze the market from the higher time frame perspective, scale down to the lower time frame, and pick our trades from there. So simply, that is what we're going to be looking at in today's video. So please join me and let's write together. All right, so we are currently on NZD/USD monthly time frame. NZD/USD monthly time frame. All right, so there are two ways in which you can plot your zones. One is simply, this is actually like a top-notch nugget that I'm giving out here, right? A very top-notch nugget that many have to pay for it. And I mean, if you happen to see this video, really take how do I even call this? I mean, take advantage of it. Okay, if you meet this video, take good advantage of it. All right, so there are two ways of plotting the zones. One, you can plot with the chart like this, with the candlestick charts, and the other you can plot with what? The line chart. So the line chart actually gives you the closing prices, or gives you a tip of the closing prices. You can draw your zones using that. But then today we are going to be using the naked charts, or I mean the candlesticks. All right, so we now take our zones right here. This is the monthly time frame. I have all my time frames, zones on all the time frames well defined. All right, so let's just start from here. Let's plot this zone beautifully here. I use the candlesticks, and then sometimes the wicks. It depends on the exact part that it falls on. All right, great. So this is our monthly zone. Just done one zone so far. I'm going to move it to the key levels that I know price would respect. All right, great. So for example, we have this level right here. Don't draw your zones as lines. Draw them as zones. Draw them as zones. I've left another nugget today. Great. Just follow through. Right here, we can find another zone here. Now look at this. One, respected, right? Came all the way down, respected. Respected, came, broke, respected, broke, respected. I mean, respected in that order, all right? So that is how, I mean, it flows, all right? Let me just extend it small. Then we pick it here. Again, we come all the way down to this side, all right? Like I said, draw them as zones. Draw them as zones. Always draw them as zones. So there is one here. Let me just leave this here because it's very far from here. So let me leave it here. And then this is very far from, sorry. Okay, let's go. Take it from here to this area. All right, so you can see right there, we have a zone. Okay, we have a zone. And then there are different ways that you can identify your support and resistance zones, right? Different ways that you can identify them. Different ways that you can identify them. So we will get to each two in another video. There is also another zone here, and there is a one at the top here. All right, but then this is a monthly time frame, so it's really going to take us a very long time to get to one of these zones. You understand? All right, and in as much as I'm drawing my support and resistance on the key zones or on the key levels, I make sure that even chart patterns that I see, I identify them. All right, so this video could simply be the way that I do a complete chart analysis. All right, I can see sort of a trend line moving from this level all the way down here. All right, I can see a sort of a trend line. Okay, so this is the monthly time frame. The trend line got broken, and then I can see one two below here, another trend line here. Let me see another trend line here, maybe, because so this like a tech touch, and then it boomed. All right, So that is that. I mean, so you realize that even on the monthly time frame, price was bearish, but then it broke a trend line as well as a previous resistance level. All right, a previous resistance level. It broke it, and what retesting with what a bearish candle. All right, this is the monthly time frame, mind you. All right, so for us to look more into it, and this like first time, second time, the third time too, for us to look more into it and then find um a trade, all right, or a trade entry, we need to move on to the lower time frame. All right, so let me just delete this right here. So we move on now to the weekly time frame, so the 1 week time frame. All right, so on the weekly time frame, you see the zone that we drew from our monthly time frame is also looking very nice and beautiful here. All right, all the zones are intact, very intact as such. All right, but I can spot another zone around or on the weekly time frame somewhere around here. So I'll draw it and then later expand it to see what it looks like. Okay, yes, so there is another zone here. But I mean, this is the weekly time frame, so I'll use my weekly time frame support and what resistance color for it. I mean, for easy identification. All right. So there's another zone right here. Let me just adjust it. Well, great. So there's another zone here that is being respected. There's another zone here that is being respected. All right, so this is basically on the weekly time frame too. So on the weekly time frame, we realize that price broke out of what these support resistance trend line here, and then is retesting the trend line as well as the monthly support zone, which is indicative of the fact that if you should see either a bullish engulfing candle, a morning star in any of these areas. This is the weekly time frame. So if any of that should show here, we should be going long, or a significant bullish candle. If you see any of those here, we should be going long. And then what? With no returns. I mean, the market is on its own, but then once our edges are being met, once our edges, are being well defined and it happens in the market, we see them, we shouldn't relent to take what? To take our trades. Are we following? Now, you can also realize that in this same resistance zone, was this bearish engulfing candle. And after the bearish engulfing candle, we had a bearish candle, which is now being pushed up by what? By the bulls because of this support level right here. Understand? So you see the power of what? You see the power of the engulfing candles, the bearish engulfing candles. Even if you look around here, right? Let me just take this and let me draw. Even if you look around here, right? If you look around here, that is a morning star, a bearish, and then what? Bullish. This is a morning star, and right after the morning star, what candlestick did we have? A bullish candlestick. Then we came to what? To the resistance level or the resistance zone here, which gave us a bearish engulfing candle. So these are all indications of what? Very good trades. All right. So you see any of these on the higher time frames, hop onto the lower time frames, take your trades. Don't get scared. Hop onto the lower time frame and take your trades. All right. And as of the time that I'm recording this video, today is Friday, all right, which means market is closing today. If this candlestick moves or tries or in any way close as a bullish pin bar, I mean, next week should be bullish. All right. If not, then we would what? Wait for a build up still in the weekly time frame. But if you should get an entry on the 4-hour time frame or on daily time frame, we are going to take our trades in what? In bulls. All right. We will take our trades in bulls, or we would what? Buy. Right. Okay, so let's now move on to the daily time frame. We are still just on the weekly time frame. We move on to the daily time frame. Good. On the daily time frame, what can we see? I mean, it's the same exact definitions, the same exact things that we are seeing. That is just what we're seeing. I mean, that is just what we are seeing. It is all buys. So this bot came down, kind of like broke this, but then we know that there is a fair value gap here that it wanted to retest. There is a zone here that it wants to retest. All right. So look at what is happening here on the daily time frame. Look at what is happening. This was bearish. This was first bullish. Another bullish candle is coming. If this should also close bullish, I mean, we should definitely be expecting something of the bulls. All right. Now, in as much as monthly and weekly are telling me to look out for bulls, I'm not going to close my mind to just the bulls. But then, if I'll have to be open-minded, because the market is what is communicating. It is on its own. It is doing what it likes. You understand? So if it is telling you to go otherwise, and you said, no, this is what I've said from the beginning, I'm going to do that, I mean, you might end up hurting yourself. All right. So in as much as I can sense bulls from the monthly and weekly time frame, I still don't have to close my mind. Is that okay? All right. So this is I can see something like a trend line right here. Let me take it from here. right here. All right, you can see sort of a trend line here, sort of a trend line here. Okay, which means that definitely the bulls will come in to push the market to the top. Let's see the weekly time frames what we can get. Okay, all right. See what I'm talking about? So daily, I mean, we can see a trend line there, which means that this trend line must be retested before if the bears will continue, they will. So fine. We are still expecting bulls to move towards this trend line to give us a retest of this trend line. So you see, you need not close your mind. You have to be open-minded because the market can communicate anything at all to you. So you have to be what? Open-minded. Like I said, you just have to be open-minded. Do not close your eyes, not at all. All right. So move on to the 4 hour time frame and see what we can spot. So on a 4 hour time frame, same thing, same thing, same things. But then something interesting is going on here. On the 4 hour time frame, we've seen a sharp decline, right? A sharp decline in price. Let's take a trend line and see if we can plot something. We've seen a sharp decline in price. A sharp decline in price. Now, when we come to this level, to this monthly support zone, you can see an engulfing candle here, which is what's pushing price up. This broke the trend line, went up, retested. I mean, 4 hour is giving us a bullish engulfing candle. All right, engulfing how many candles? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 good candles, which means that the buys are still on. So you realize at the end of the day, the buys, the probability, it is a probability game. All right. So this is more of a 70-30 or even a 80-20. You understand? Which means that what we are favoring price or we are favoring the bulls with about 80% and what's giving the best 20%, which means that what we should definitely be looking for buys, 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 buys. You get it? Now, let's look at where we can take profit. I mean, I'm literally giving my entry and then what exit criteria. There's a fair value gap here. It should be filled. There's a fair value gap here. It should be filled. So this can be our first target. If you should take a trade from this level after this end, our stop loss can be just below here, about 68 pips, no problem. 68 pips, no problem. If we should get it on a lower time frame, fine. So this is about a 1:1 risk to reward ratio. I usually take close 50% of my profits at a 1:1 risk to reward ratio, and then break even from there for the rest of the trade. So sometimes 20%. It depends on what criteria have been met. Then our next line should be probably here, right? So almost a 1:3 risk to reward ratio. Not bad, right? Almost a 1:3 risk to reward ratio. I mean, so this is just the 4 hour time frame. Even if you should go all the way down to the 1 hour time frame, we could even tip it down. I mean, we could tip it down, all right? We could tip it down. So we can even have our stop loss around here because of all these candles here. Our stop loss around here. I mean, it depends on what we've seen, all right? So basically, that is just how to use the support and resistance in analyzing a trade. Now, let's look at another asset too. So the next asset that I have lined up is oil, all right? The next asset that I have lined up for us to look at is oil. So let's equally move on to the monthly time frame. So we are currently on the monthly time frame of what? Oil. We are currently on the monthly time frame of oil. We draw as support and resistance zones as usual. So we start off from here. Okay, what do we have? So this is a monthly. Okay, so let me now copy and bring it all the way down. Nothing is showing there. We can see one here. Okay, you can see a zone here. I can also find one zone here. But interesting. I can also see a zone around here. Right? I can see a zone around here. I can also see a zone around here. Great. All right. I believe you can see what I'm doing. Yes. I can also see a zone around here. It looks pretty simple, but then it takes constant practice to master. All right. It actually takes constant practice to master. I can see a zone here. Now, look at this huge money star. I mean, taking the trade from this level. This monthly time frame, guys. This monthly time frame, but just imagine. All right. Okay, and then up. Okay, let me see. There is some two around this level. All right, so this is the monthly time frame. Now look at this. If you haven't watched my video on candlestick patterns, please do. It will help you a lot. All right, please do. If you haven't watched my video on candlestick patterns, please do. So you realize that price is actually in the buys here. I mean, up, down. It's been just been consolidating all this while. All right, but then I can spot a trend line here. Let's see if that is real. Because this is up and this is like flowing south, 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 south. So I can see a trend line there. Let's see what we can say about it. So we know that current price is currently like bearish, but there is a bull power in here. There is a bull power in here, definitely a bull power. But price currently is at a monthly resistance or so. I mean, just analyzing the monthly time frame, it tells me what to expect next. All right. So let's go on to the weekly time frame and see what we could get. So on the weekly time frame, we realized that our trend line, our support trend line was broken, making a retest. All right. Let's see if it can give us a very good candlestick pattern. I'm keen on candlestick patterns. Look at this candlestick pattern at this support zone. Bearish, somehow like a pin bar. This is a morning star, and the next candlestick is bullish. This is weekly time frame, guys. I mean, do not play with it. All right. It is an essential part of the Forex trading journey that you have to pay keen attention to. Candlestick patterns, candlestick patterns, candlestick patterns. All right. Okay. So, I mean, price is telling us that we are looking for sell. All right. I can also spot a somewhat a bearish trend line here, around here. Ooh, okay. So first touch, second touch, third touch. This is pushing price and price is coming back to it. There is a resistance. So I mean, we should be looking for more sales, right? Yeah, we should be looking for more sales since the price is currently bullish from this level, right? So let's move on to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, I'm just using basically support and resistance. So support and resistance. That is all I'm using, right? So basically, I mean, or even when it comes to the daily time frame, we can see price is bearish. I mean, making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then it failed to make a new low, right? In as much as it failed to make a new low, it couldn't actually. Can see an inner trend line here. Can see an inner trend line here. Whoa, inner trend line. Whoa. Look at what we are getting here. So let me hide this. So the inner trend line was actually broken. Remember, we have sells. Inner trend line was actually broken, and we tested with this is a money star. So this monthly time frame price is actually at a monthly time frame with the money star on the money star on the monthly time frame resistance zone. All right. So I think we should be looking for buys to this level first because of the money star to this level first before our sales. Right. I hope that makes sense. Let me delete this first. All right. So I think we should be looking for buys. Yeah, I think we should be looking for buys to. But it all depends on what the candlestick tells us. All right. It depends on what the candlestick tells us. So on the daily time frame, we can be looking for buys to this zone first. But let's look at what the 4-hour time frame will tell us. Let's look at what the 4-hour time frame will tell us. So the 4-hour time frame is pretty much telling us same thing. I can spot something different here. I mean, like I said, this is how do you call it? This is a game of probabilities, right? This is a game of probabilities. If it is not clear, don't take a trade. It's as simple as that, all right? I can spot a pattern here. I'm not going to tell you what pattern I'm spotting, all right, which is giving us indications of sales, all right? So I would actually leave this trade and then wait for what the weekly time frame will tell us about it. I'll wait for what the weekly time frame is going to tell me at this zone. So I'll wait for the next week to close, give me a candlestick. Then I'll know whether I should go for the bulls or for the buys, because I mean, it is more of a 40-50% rule that is running there. Bearish resistance, bearish support trend line, bullish support trend line broken and retested. It's now waiting to give us a candlestick pattern, right? You understand? There is a bearish trend line here with price respected. I mean, this is a how do you call it, a resistance zone to here. So I mean, things are not so clear. It's more of a 40-50% to here. So I will actually wait and see what the weekly time frame will tell me, and the close of next week, then we see. I'll actually pick this trade and update you on what to see. Listen, your criteria should be met before you take a trade. If it is unclear, don't force it. The market is on its own. You can't force trades. If you force trades, you would burn. What did I say? If you force the trades, you will burn your account. All right. So don't force the trade. Allow the market to play out. It should give you a clear picture. The candlestick is the language of the market. It should give you a candlestick, how do you call it? A clear picture. Yo, bro, I'm going this direction. And you write it, you understand? So that is why it is always good to come to the higher time frame and see the direction, the actual direction that the higher time frame is giving, and follow. I hope you get that. So guys, that is it all for today. I will see you on the flip side. Do well to join our Telegram channel. I'll link the link in the description. When this trade, plays out, that is where we give our signals and all. So do well to join the channel and let's move together. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share to other friends too, so that we can all move together. Thank you. Bye bye, and I will see you on the flip side.